So I want to put a salute out there to Charles Kushner. And I will get back to the Supreme Court in a moment. To Charles Kushner, who's our ambassador to France. France has a huge problem with Islamists. Their open borders have had real consequences. The chief rabbi there said last year that Jews need to leave. And in 10 years, there may be no Jews left in France. The Islamists have overtaken many parts of Europe. I hope you're watching the posts that I put up. Finland, Britain, Austria, Australia, Canada. Might as well be Europe. But I want to salute Charles Kushner. He published a letter, and he sent this letter to Emmanuel Macron, who's a quisling, who'd be more comfortable in Vichy, France. Dear Mr. Macron, on the 81st anniversary of the Allied liberation of Paris, which ended the deportation of Jews from French soil, I write out of deep concern over the dramatic rise of anti-Semitism in France and the lack of sufficient action by your government to confront it. Anti-Semitism has long scarred French life, but it has exploded since Hamas's barbaric assault on October 7, 2023. Since then, pro-Hamas extremists and radical activists have waged a campaign of intimidation and violence across Europe. In France, not a day passes without Jews assaulted in the street, synagogues or schools defaced, or Jewish-owned businesses vandalized. Your own Interior Ministry has reported anti-Semitic incidents even at preschools. Public statements haranguing Israel and gestures toward recognition of a Palestinian state embolden extremists, fuel violence, and endanger Jewish life in France. In today's world, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, plain and simple. President Trump and I have Jewish children and share Jewish grandchildren. I know how he feels about anti-Semitism, as do all Americans. He directed the Education Department to enforce civil rights protections for Jewish students on university campuses, making clear that harassment and discrimination won't be tolerated. He expanded resources for the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Homeland Security to safeguard synagogues and Jewish schools. He ordered strict vetting to bar entry for foreigners espousing anti-Semitic hatred and revoked visas for foreign agitators. He oversaw the deportation of Hamas sympathizers and cut funding to organizations promoting anti-Semitic incitement. And by crippling Iran's nuclear weapons program, he struck directly at the world's leading state sponsor of anti-Semitism and terror and saved millions of lives. These measures prove that anti-Semitism can be fought effectively when leaders have the will to act. Today, many French Jews fear that history will repeat itself in Europe. Parents encourage their children to emigrate. Surveys show most French citizens believe another Holocaust could happen in Europe. That's French citizens, not just Jews. Nearly half of French youth report never having heard of the Holocaust at all. What are children being taught in French schools if such ignorance persists? Mr. President, I urge you to act decisively. Enforce hate crime laws without exception. Ensure the safety of Jewish schools, synagogues, and businesses. Prosecute offenders to the fullest extent and abandon steps that give legitimacy to Hamas and its allies. As U.S. Ambassador to France, I stand ready to work with you and with leaders across French society to forge a serious plan that addresses the roots of anti-Semitism and defeats it. Mr. Kushner is U.S. Ambassador to France. What a powerful, important, what will be historic letter. And guts. What a gutsy letter.